I'm back. Admit it, you didn't think I would be. Well, after skipping out for a few days, you know, I can understand. Actually, yesterday was Jeremy's birthday, that's why I wasn't here. But anyway, on to the first story of the day, which is a woman in Cleveland, Ohio, that has to, well, wear a sign basically proclaiming she's an idiot. This is actually coming forward as a sentence from a judge, and normally I'd say, okay, this is going too far. You know, what are you doing, judge? You shouldn't be doing stuff like this, except for the fact that this woman, the reason why she's having to do this, is she was stuck in traffic, and she decided to get around a school bus by driving on the sidewalk. And now she has to wear a sign for 2 days on the intersection saying only an idiot drives around a school bus on the sidewalk. I mean, it's just... I can actually completely understand and fully agree with this at this point. You know, normally I would say, you know, it's unusual punishment, but really this fits the bill. All right, we're going to flip over to Britain, where there is a man who did something that, you know, we usually only see in movies. He was having a heart attack, and he decided, you know what? I'm going to confess to the murder that, you know, has been a cold case for, you know, 15 years now, and just give it off my chest, you know, hopefully get a little bit of redemption right at the end. He called over a cop and, you know, confessed to it, you know, and then, well, James Washington, the man who killed a girl back in 1995, survived the heart attack. I don't think this is an ending he was expecting at all. He is now facing charges and jail time and possibly life imprisonment, but yeah, I think the, you know, Universe Lord, whatever you want to call it, was just saying, hey, look, give him a little push, and confession. And we're going to continue our globe-trotting tour by heading down to New Zealand, where something kind of amazing has happened, actually. A whale that has never really been seen before, well, has now been seen. We actually knew about this whale's existence for a while. It's kind of a weird-shaped nose. We found pieces of its skull, and we're like, oh, this is, I don't know, it's weird. But now we actually have two of them, actually, a mother and her calf washed up on shore. And it's just blowing my mind that something like this big can be hidden for so long. All they have to do is just stay underwater for extremely long periods of time, way deep under. And we don't know about them because, well, we haven't explored nearly 70% of the world, mainly the ocean. We need to get down there. We need to push our science forward because amazing stuff like this is down there. Do you like to wear masks, especially during protests? Well, you may not be able to in Canada anymore. A law has just been passed that actually makes it illegal to wear a mask during riots and, well, highly active protests. Now, I would like to point out that the law only states that you can, it's illegal to wear a mask during violent actions in groups, you know, mass riots, that kind of stuff. You cannot hide your identity during these things, and it doesn't pertain to peaceful protests. At the same time, this still makes me leery. I mean, who decides what's violent and what's not in these protests? It could be a peaceful protest that's a little active, and if the government doesn't like it, they could send in and say, hey, look, they're being violent, and they're wearing masks. Let's add on to their sentence. So, kind of makes me nervous. At the same time, it is Canada. Not really much of that's going to probably happen. I mean, admit it, Canadians are some of the most moral people I've ever met. And let's flip back to Europe, because I just really am skipping around the United States at this point. To CERN, in fact, where, well, this is not a discovery that's been made, and it's not, you know, a major experiment that they're going to do, and it's not some push forward in the scientific community, or at least I certainly hope not. It's a zombie flick. CERN has opened its doors to a zombie film being made, a low-budget kind of thing, so probably not something I'm ever going to really see, but at the same time, I might. I mean, it's CERN. And so far, everything's looking really good. You know, there's a trailer down below. Might link it here or something. I don't know. Either way, this is actually an idea I think needs to be pushed forward a little bit, simply because, I mean, scientific areas filled with zombies, yeah, it can get creepy. And there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, right, the presidential elections for here in the United States. I've got story after story, article after article. I'm going to cover as much of this as I possibly can. Starting out, well, back in Ohio, you know, right back to the first story, I guess. where things are looking like the election may actually be pushed on for days, if not weeks. The entire thing is just completely convoluted. And Ohio being what it is, one of the key states, this could really push on the election for a while. We may not know who wins tonight, especially watching the polls right now. Actually, I got a link to the electoral map. It's looking really even. I mean, Romney's currently ahead on my map, but I don't know. It's looking weird. Further on, I mean, we're getting weird stories already, like a man that voted, it seemed like he died, just completely passed out, died, and then woke back up, and first words out of his mouth, "Did I vote?" Should this man really be voting in the first place? You know, if he's not entirely conscious. Either way, he's done something that, well, as far as the news states, 80% of you aren't doing. Voting. 20% of the population is choosing who's the president? This is scary. By the way, yes, I voted. Going on further on that little note, and a lot of people are just saying, you know what, my vote doesn't count. You know, it's just all too confusing. All the politicians are lying anyway. I don't care. There's 80% of you not voting. If all of you voted, guess what? Suddenly your votes would count. Blue states would turn red, red states would turn blue, chaos would be thrown in the system, and we might get somebody in there that actually knows what they're doing instead of two of the main candidates. I mean, come on. We've got pregnant women voting right now. Get out there and vote. Anyway, these are extraordinary times. I'm AJ. I think I forgot to say that earlier. Whatever. Thank you for joining me here. Like over here, favorite there, subscribe up there if you haven't already. I mean, that's what helps us push forward and keeps us from making these little time gaps that we've had the past few days. And always, be aware.